another video about making butter. So I've made butter a couple of times. I've made it with double cream, which is that heavy cream in America, but the thick stuff that you make desserts out of and make sauces out of. So I've made butter out of that. It's very successful. And then I've figured out a way how to get butter from single cream. We have to use some double cream, but we can actually extract butter from single cream. And I've also shown how to whip single cream as well. And then I was kind of thinking, in the past, years ago, my mum used to freeze cream. But what she used to do is she used to freeze it after she'd whipped it, and then it wouldn't split. And then it could be used in things. So if she'd whipped too much cream, and then she'd freeze it, and then she'd save it in the freezer, and then use it on other things. And it worked because normally when you freeze cream, it wants to split. The fat wants to split out of it. And then I was kind of thinking, well, if when we freeze it, the fat splits out of it, that's kind of what we want to do when we make butter, but we whip it and we over whip it. So all the fat wants to collect together when we over whip it and then form the butter. But I was kind of thinking, well, if we freeze it and then defrost it, the fat will separate out from the whey that's in the cream. So that's what I've done. I've frozen some single cream, so it's solid, and I've frozen some double cream, and I'll let them defrost, and then we'll have a look at them once they have defrosted, and then we'll have a look at individually putting them in the food processor and whipping them up and seeing if we can form a butter that way, just out of interest, rather than having to whip up the cream. If we can just simply freeze it and then defrost it, and the fat splits out of it, and then we can collect that butter, then that's a much simpler process, and it stops having to faff around with whipping up some double cream and adding some single cream to it. So we kind of bypass that. So you don't actually, if you've got too much single cream, you can simply turn it into butter. And then also, there's always an also. So in the past, I picked up some cheap ultra heat treated single cream that was very cheap, and I found different ways to kind of use it. There wasn't that many ways of using it, but I managed, if this method works of freezing the fat out of the butter, out of the cream, then that potentially should work with the ultra heat treated cream as well. So when I find some more of that cheap, if this works, we'll have a go with that as well. So we'll let these defrost, and then we'll have a look at them. Right, let's have a look at this cream. So I don't know if you'll be able to see. If we put a light that way, it might be a bit lighter. So you can see that water has wanted to split out of this cream. Let's get a spoon in it and have a look. So it's split, so the water's come out of it. So we might just be able to whip that up. And this is the double cream, and that's not happened as much. Which way are we going to do it round? Let's do the single cream. Let's whip up the single cream. No, we're going to have to do them both anyway. I'm trying to cut down on the video and the mess and the faff and type things. So let's do the single cream. We'll whip it up, and we'll kind of see if we can get the fat to all start clinging together. If this doesn't work, I'll simply put the cream in some soup and not waste it, because it'll melt. If you heat it up, it'll melt back together and it'll be fine in the soup. And as long as you give it a bit of a puree or some custard, it'll be nice. So lid on, and we'll give it a go, and we'll see what happens. I might just leave it running while I do a few of the jobs in the kitchen. That's going to be annoying, so we'll just the whisk off there and see what happens. Oh, forgot about that. I don't think anything's happening there. It's not wanting to. It's not wanting to split out. Now carry on going. I'll stop the video because otherwise it'll just be too long. So, I don't think that's going to work. I don't think that's going to work. It's kind of whipped it. It's not gone back to pouring consistencies either. So, no, the fat's not split out of it. All it's really done is whip the fat back into it. So, let's pour that off. Whipped a lot of air into it. More in there than I actually want. Let's get rid of that somewhere. Down. Need to pause. Right, we're back. Let's try with the double cream. Ooh, that's certainly a lot thicker. Let's see if the fat will split out of that one. And then if it splits out of this one, we might be able to add the single cream to it. Pouring cream, whatever you want to call it. So it's kind of quite grainy. You know, fine if you're going to put it in soups and sauces. As long as you're not 100% bothered about the result. As long as you blend the soup or the sauce with the hand blender, I can't imagine it will be that noticeable. So, same process again. Lick my finger. I don't think there's a little bit of residue of single cream there. I don't think that's going to make too much of a difference, and we'll give that a whip up. You don't see it. So, something interesting has happened. That has happened. So it's thickened up. We'll carry on. So, this looks like it's worked. This looks like it's worked. So, we have it's split into, well, it's whipped the whey into the butter. So it hasn't split it out, but the fat started to clump together, which means that if we gave that a squeeze, we'd be able to squeeze all the way out of it. So what you do is you get a couple of butter, like flat paddles, and you start slapping the butter together between these two paddles, and it knocks out all the whey, and then you can add in salt or other flavourings if you like. So there we go. That works with that. Although the whey's still in it, whereas if you whip it beforehand and then the whey wants to split out of it, you can kind of catch it kind of quite quickly. But obviously that was going a little bit too quick. So the actual freezing method, well, no, does the freezing method work? No, because, well, yeah, it works, but there's no point freezing it. Although it's something that you could do. So, alright, so what are the practical applications? Now, if you're going to make butter from double cream, you simply just whip it up and then whip out whip out the whey and then form the butter with a couple of paddles together. However, if you happen to have some frozen double cream, you can turn it into butter. That's practical, that's interesting, okay? So we can do that with frozen butter, with frozen double cream. You can turn it into butter. It won't whip up like it normally would whip up, but we can turn it into butter. A little bit of a longer process because we've got to beat all that whey out of it with a couple of paddles. But if you have some frozen double cream or heavy cream, whatever you want to kind of call it, what percentage of fat is it? Don't want to say. So for 100 milliliters, there is 50 grams worth of fat. So take that as you like. I don't know what the definition of heavy cream is, but I presume it's probably about 50% fat. So you can do that with that. Now let's see if we can add this frozen single cream to this, and then we'll be able to form that into butter. Right, so we can't do it we can't whip it like this with the single cream and turn it into butter, but let's see if we can mix it with the formed butter, and then, oh God, this begs another question. This kind of begs the question that could you whip up some single cream and then put in some butter, and then hopefully that butter would then attract the other fat globules. But anyway, so let's pour this cream back in and let's see what happens there. Let's see if it collects all the fat globules from the what we call it, from the single cream, pouring cream. You don't need to see. It might be a bit messy, so I won't show you that. Right, let's have a look. I don't think it's worked. Oh, I don't know. That might have worked. That might have worked. We've certainly got some whey there, haven't we? We've certainly got some whey. Let's get that. Let's clear up a bit of a clear up. Let's get that out of there. I don't think, if we've made butter this way, I think there'll be quite a lot of whey. There'll be a lot of whey. If we've made butter this way, there'll be quite a lot of whey in this. And if the whey is in it, or the buttermilk, then it might not be particularly wanting to last very well. So I'll get some stuff out of the way, and then we'll kind of strain that into a container, and we'll see if we can get the butter out of it. Right, let's have a look. So that's certainly very watery, which would suggest that we can turn. Once again, we can turn. We need it. We just can't turn single cream into. We can't whip it, or we can't turn it into. Right, running out of storage space as always. So it looks like we can't whip single cream or turn it into butter without upping the fat content. And by upping the fat content, meaning that we have to whip. I need to get rid of that. I'll be back in a second. That we need to whip the heavy cream first to be able to turn it into butter, or to whip it, which answers the question: can we turn single cream? Can we whip single cream? No. Can we turn it into butter? No. But we can add it to some already whipped cream, and we can turn it into whipping cream or butter that way. So so you can see. So we've got some watery buttermilk that's come out of that. That will carry on dripping. Can just do that, and we'll find that more. Can you hear it drip? Some more whey will come out of that. Now, because of the whey will because it's got quite a bit of whey in it. You need to be careful that it's the whey that's going to turn it off. So butter keeps for longer than cream because it's got a higher fat content. Whereas if it's got the whey in it, it means there's more liquid in it, so there's more chance that bacteria will grow or things will want to start to go rancid. That's why butter keeps for longer, and something like a ghee or a clarified butter, which is 100% butter fat, will keep for even longer because there's no water in there. to stop it, to encourage bacterial growth, or to stop it from going rancid. Why does something go rancid? It's got to be down to something bacterial, isn't it? So what we can do, we can bang that around, keep banging that around, and then we'll form butter out of that. Or you can get 2 butter paddles, which are like 2 flat. I haven't got a butter paddle. I did have years ago, but it's like that is for battering out meat, so it's thinner. But there's like wooden version of these paddles, and then you paddle it together, and it knocks out all the way. So there we go. We can turn frozen. What was the original question? Well, the original thought was, can we separate the fat and the whey from single cream and double cream through the freezing process? The answer is no. But if we do freeze it, we can turn it into butter rather than just put it in a sauce or put it in custard or something, or enriching something else. We can turn double cream and single cream into butter. So there we go. That's 100. It's not 100% success and a result and a happy result, but it does answer a question. And if you find yourself with some frozen single cream or some frozen double cream, you can turn it into butter. There we go. So that's a success.